6 o'clock. Now, I've not even pressed start streaming just yet, but I am going to go and hit start streaming over here right now, and hopefully that kicks in. So it tells me that the event is starting, and it has now started. So good morning, I'm Matt, and welcome to today's RC Coffee Chat. Now, some of you may notice a slightly different setup than normal, so if you can let me know if the audio is good, that'll be fantastic. I've got a separate screen up here, I've got a laptop in front of me, and hopefully I can keep along with your chat as we go along as well. Brilliant, audio is fine, thank you. And by the way, you can see the live chat going down the right hand side of your screen as well. Right, let's get into today's topics for you. So today is the 200th episode of the RC Coffee Chat, which, let's be frankly here, that's quite an achievement. And if you consider that I've posted literally just over 1,000 videos, that the RC Coffee Chats take up 1/5 of those videos. So I love the format, and we're going to be chatting about this in a little bit more detail in a few moments time. So anyway, on the topics list, the S-Back video, which we'll be discussing in a few moments, that was the video which went out last night. You may or may not have seen that one. There's not many views on that one, so like I said, you may or may not have seen that one. We'll have a quick chat about that one. Sorry, I amuse myself at times. The second topic of today's RC Coffee Chat is going to be called Backwards. Right, good night, Howdy ref, by the way. So we'll be chatting about the free wing as well. We'll be talking about the Sidewinder, definitely a WTF moment, which I just, thanks to Lauren, spotted on Jeff's channel. We will be taking a look at that because that is very peculiar. We will be taking quite a serious chat about the RC Coffee Chats and the Ragnarok's off channel is like in the middle part of this one. There is a change going out today, which some of you will like, some of you won't like. Tough if you don't like it because you're doing it anyway. And we'll also be taking a look towards the future as well of the Ragnarok's off channel too. I also want to give you a heads up, we will be doing a build along very, very shortly. I need to give you a heads up on some small parts which you'll want to get in if you want to follow us along. There's only there's only one oddity in the build requirement list, and you'll find out what that is at the end of today's RC Coffee Chat. So if this is your first time here, this is just a general chit chat at the desk over a cuppa. It is 6:02 in the morning here in the United Kingdom. Obviously, it may be a little bit later in the day, depending where you are in the world. I know many of you join us from the United States, Australia, New Zealand, and many different places across the world. It'll be a different time of day. So you might not be sipping a cuppa, you might have a cold beer in your hand instead. So that's fine. Let's have a slurp. Right, let's get into, excuse me, the S-Back. Now, let me go and click on there, so you'll see a slightly different setup we got on there. The S-Back, now, I want to put this that review into perspective. Is that it's one of those models which I know that if you make a mistake, that within one bad landing, that model's gone. Now, the irony is that I waited 1 year to do a review on that model, and I finally got it out, and it was a lovely morning on there, and I wasn't kidding when the Canadian geese were flying by, and the little there was 3 little mallards just like waddling around in the field. Beautiful morning. And unfortunately my thumbs, my fingers just didn't do the sticks justice for the model itself, and I'm just there having a look at myself. It's a great model. It's only like $37. But the issue which I've always had, like in the back of my head, like for you, is that one screw up and it's foam snow, and you can like mitigate that by using E6000 glue on there to penetrate the foam to make it tougher and things like that, but still one bad screw up and it's in a million pieces. And I've had some close calls with it, to say the least, but it's still going, and it has lasted me a year, and I do have a spare up there still wrapped in it. You can see it's got the brown tape around it, and I've not needed it yet. So if you've not seen the S-Back video, it's on the YouTube channel. Go and take a look at it, and then do keep in the back of your mind, I have personally held off on that one for a year to do a proper video on it like that, because I have had those reservations about it. It's not a good first 3D flying model, put it that way. As I mentioned in the video, the Hummer 3D. would be a far superior option. But that said, is that, yeah, good second model. Brilliant. It's like one of the best models which you can fly on a calm day for the amount of fun which you can have with it. Right, let's move on to topic number 2. And I'm sure many of you know that there's a group on Facebook for the mini Talon pilots on there, and they're all pretty serious guys in there. They're like posting pictures of their Lion packs, which they're doing in there, their long range setups and all that stuff. And then there's this bloke called Matt, which keeps turning up in there. And just frankly taking a piss, because what do we have? You may remember hits such as the twin motor mini Talon, which technically had 3 motors on it and went like a rocket ship. Then we had other hits such as the biplane mini Talon as well, which was absolutely bonkers once we got it to fly. It did have some flying issues. And then let me go and get it a second and I'll show you what I posted in there, because there's nothing quite like having a poke at some serious guys just to see what their sense of humour is. Now, you may know the mini Talon as a model like this. However, have you ever wondered how it would fly if it was flown this way round? Serious question. Do you reckon it will do it? I really am rooting for this one. Now, I've got a few things to sort out, and I've had suggestions like cutting off these the V-tails and turning them into canards. But to be honest, I want to try and keep it almost looking like a mini Talon. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to tape up these fins at the front of the model, and and hopefully it doesn't cause too much effect on the airflow. I need to get the excuse me, I'm losing my voice this morning. I need to get the angle of the wings sorted out. I will look at what I've got on the front and then reverse it on the back. It's going to be fun trying to get some battery in here. Now, the one thing is that I'm trying to keep this model, trying to make it look like a mini Talon all over. But the one thing which I will need to do is actually rip this off on the back of the model and put an elevator fin in there to try and give it some horizontal stabilization, maybe some vertical stabilization as well. So that is my plan. I'm going to see if I can make a backwards mini Talon. So yeah, watch this space on that one. It is going to be a bit of a fun project. Whether it flies, it doesn't really matter, even if it doesn't fly, because I just know that I'm going to end up laughing lots. You're probably going to end up laughing lots on the flight line as well. It's just my sense of humour. I'm making no apologies for that one. And let me just nip across to your chat as well. What on earth? Good morning, Jim from Texas. Happy days. Oh, Nabil, I saw your post on Instagram. It was quite amusing. Anyway, let me just get back onto topic. In fact, let me go and stick the chat, which you can see and I couldn't see up there. Right. So, yeah, that was topic number 2, backwards. Topic number 3 is the free wing. Now, I've got it here next to me, and I was looking at the video footage of this one this morning, as Andy lovingly called it, the butcher's block, which is, I've got a little thin reel of very thin tape, and it just took a few moments just to put some tape on it, just to help like the orientation in the sky. I did take the setup of iNav out of the Wingwing Z84 and literally just put it straight into this model, and it worked great, absolutely brilliantly well. You'll still see that I've got the Lion pack, which is in there front of there, and it did great for what was quite a windy day. It did brilliantly, and I'll get the video out for you as soon as I can, well, over the next week or so. The only one complaint which I actually had about this wing was it was actually down to my own choice, which was the motor choice at the back. I did choose a BR2208 1100 kV motor, and it's running a 7x5 prop, so it should have been under propped. But no, the motor came down warm, which was a bit of a concern. So I have changed that to a BR2212, which is a deeper can, and it's only 1000 kV now. So again, I'll take it up, see how that flies as well. Obviously, it's not the fastest model in the world, but with what was quite a windy morning, it did penetrate into the wind okay. And if you look at this model's, just look at her curves. If you see it on the front of there, she has got some very, very nice curves indeed. And it does fly fantastically well. It's one of those strange, weird little models which everything just like worked out of the box. You know, I did put a bit too much up trim in there. It ended up being like almost zero trim put into the model itself. Once I got it trimmed in, which was very, very quick to do, I was trying stabilize mode, and I was then doing tried return to home, and literally that was it. Goggles were down, and off we went for a little jolly. It's everything which I expected it to be, so I'm quite chuffed about that one. So we'll have the maiden video out of that one in the next couple of days, in short. So yeah, impressed with that one. And again, like I said, I took all the parts out of my Z84 to put it in there because I wasn't really flying the Z84. Because the Z84, I always wanted to put a Lion pack in it, but it was always a pain in the ass trying to fit everything in there, so I kind of gave up, if I'm honest. I've gone with that one instead, so I'll end up putting a decent motor in the Z84 instead and making it into a little fast model again. Yay! Right, our next topic is WTF! Wow, have you seen this yet? You look on Jeff's channel 7, Demo 7 on YouTube, and I'm sure Jeff's going to do a follow-up on this one as well. Watch the model. It is absolutely bonkers. Can I full screen this? Yes, I can. Watch the model. This is just shocking.
So if you didn't actually get to see on my main video the oscillations through the airframe, here is a close-up.
There, look at that! What the?
That oscillation, and that is the reason I did the tape reinforcement. So I had...
That is just crazy, and it doesn't even look like... So Lauren was saying in the chat about that he was doing a huge dive in there, but I didn't... That wasn't a huge dive. I've not noticed that. That is rather concerning. So I grabbed mine here this morning. So Jeff, what I'm actually just going to quickly say, just keep an eye in the bottom of the model and just see if any of these spars are snapped inside, because there is 2 spars along the leading edge. There's a horizontal spar going across the model across here. There's 1 spar going down the front, 1 spar going down there, 1 spar going across there, and then carbon fibre or glass fibre strip going down there. And I did start flexing around with this one, and I reckon you could get it to go, but there is flex in it, and you do want a bit of a flex in the model, but I didn't see that it was going to be enough for it to oscillate. That is quite peculiar, to say the least. So yeah, if you've not seen that, have a look on Jeff's channel, because that is very, very curious. And I've pushed that one to the limit, what I thought was the limit, and not had any of it at all. So how peculiar. WTF springs to mind on that one. Right, and I am using my little notepad here just to tick off. Now, I've got to give you a heads up, and we normally do a shout out corner here in the mornings, oh, actually, normally what I would do is have a separate screen with all your chat on it, and funny enough, I've just realised that I do have a screen here with all your chat on it. So we'll do a shout out corner this morning. Zenith, good morning. Lauren, good morning. Skyrus, aka Andy, good morning. If we scroll down your chat, Anna NL, good morning. Elijah, good morning. Julian, good morning. Riff, good morning. Namil, good morning. Who have I just missed? Jim, good morning. Magnus, good morning. What is better, Mini or Nano Talon? Oh, Magnus, you need to own both, basically. The Mini Talon is one of, like, the best models ever made for FPV. It's great. It just cruises at 40 miles an hour for 4 amps. Absolutely brilliant. That said, the Nano Talon, for me, holds a... We mentioned this in an RC Coffee Chat a couple of weeks ago, last week actually, and for me it's great because you can literally, I can take it to a fine site very, very local to me, chuck it into the sky, you can get 45 minutes out of a single battery pack. Absolutely brilliant. So anyway, Julian, sorry that you've got to go off to work this morning. Good morning, it's all about the karma. Killer Dave, good morning. RC Air, good morning as well. Les, good morning too. Who have I missed? Legend, good morning as well. Sipler, Callum, and Joe, good morning as well. And yes, we did miss you, Les, as well. Right, let's get on to a slightly serious topic, which is, and again, you're going to have to excuse me a little bit on this one. It's not normally a topic which we cover here at all, but it is a topic which does need to be picked up, and it does a topic which does need to be addressed like head on, which is something which I try and do to try and keep things as open as possible. So let me just set the scene here. Is that, if you don't even know the background to this, is that there's an Australian pair of blokes called Blair and Marty. And they run a YouTube channel called Mighty Car Mods. Absolutely fantastic channel. In many ways self-funded. They've got some very good attributes about them. And last year they went on and did they met up with Roadkill, which was a massive US operation, which have been published on YouTube for a very long period of time. And then almost overnight, Roadkill just went away. They took what they'd been doing on YouTube and then put it behind a paywall. Now, obviously, that freaked out a large number of people, and you can imagine within like the motoring community, it was a big hoo-ha. Now, one of the best articles I have read by a content creator for YouTube is actually this one. It's absolutely brilliant. I'll put a link to this in the video description, or you can just type it into the Googler, and it is an unbelievably good article. Written by, I think it was either Blair or Marty, on the dynamics of what went on there with Roadkill, how it affects Mighty Car Mods, but they also go into the funding of the YouTube channel. And that's the one thing you've got to keep in the back of your mind, is that it's one thing doing this stuff for fun, and then there's, unfortunately, there is like this serious side to what we're doing here on YouTube. Is that if you now think about YouTube, for myself, what we 18 months in, 20 months in, something like that, and you've got to keep in the back of your mind, something which I've never shared within this group, is that I wholly set up from the very beginning, and I started with a fund of 10 grand, so in US dollars, what's that, $16,000 for a year's adventure into YouTube. That's the kind of that when I first started this, and I'll go back to the first videos, is that I really did take a punt on it. We can't see on the bottom of the screen is that the first RC Coffee Chat, which we did, only ever got 257 views. The second one got half that at 132, but I kind of knew in the back of my head there was legs in what I was doing, and then continued on. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is because there's three things which, again, many of you already know. When I started this channel, was number one, it was to never lie. Okay, there was like three foundation factors. There was number one, which was never to lie. The other one was be me, and that's something which I hope that you've been picked up. And the other one is to be humble. Okay, so if I make a screw up, is to apologise, or to go back and maybe improve something which I've done before, which could have been done better. And they're very three simple rules, but they work very, very well. The be me one is an important one. I know it pisses some people off. Look, if we think about the video which I posted 2 days ago about the shite kinetic, I literally took the Dremel to it and scrubbed it out and then wrote shite on the top of it. That is just my sense of humour. And hey, look, it annoys some people that they had to sit there for 3 minutes and watch a free video on somebody making a point about a not very good model. Then that's what can you do, you know? So yeah, good fun, and I hope you've kind of got my sense of humour by now on what kind of goes through my head at times. So in fact, let me get this back to the main camera. And you have to excuse me, I'm using a laptop and a different setup today, so let me go and click on there. So that's probably a little bit more personal. So yeah, you're going to have to excuse the sense of humour at times. I'm not going to ever apologise for me doing stupid stuff or getting... I think about very recently, I was really annoyed about the Bonsai and the Bonsai 2, that the combination of Hobby King and Tech One, who actually makes the model, could have tampered with what was a fantastic airframe itself and not made it better. Version 2s or higher increments should be better, and I was frankly, personally annoyed, and I couldn't believe that they could have taken a step backwards in what they've done. The Bonsai is that if you stick a big enough battery in it and get the CG right, it'll fly fine. It was just that they've made you follow their own recommendations and it still doesn't fly straight. So that did frustrate me. They put substandard components in there, and I don't care what anybody says, that YEP ESC was an absolute pile of poo, and it deserved to get hit with a block and set fire to, just to make the point. that it is really substandard products. And I get passionate about these things at times, and I make absolutely no apologies for that. Again, I never lie, be me and be humble. And right now I'm not being humble at all. I'm just basically saying this is the way which I'm wired, and this is the kind of content which you're going to get used to. Now, we mentioned money, just to give you like a little hint that it's not been free to create this channel over the past 15 months plus. And I did put a chunk of cash down on the table to make it happen. And I'm sure many of you can appreciate that. I'd also want to say a big thank you to you, all of you, in short, which is, and I'm not, by the way, this is not mean like an exit speech. I just want to say a big thank you to you, basically, is that through the affiliate side, is that I've been able to recoup that. It was a very long battle to do that, and it has been, took it to a stage where the channel is self-funded, to the point that I could basically buy any piece of foam and not really care about it if I smashed it up on the first flight, because you chipping in every time you go to make a purchase, say from Banggood, or even now with Hobby King or even GearBest or AliExpress, all the links are in the video description, you know, is that by you supporting and using those links on models or from the videos, has been able to help me continue with this channel and do some fun stuff as well, like that mini Talon airframe down now, just thinking the amount of grief which it's gone through, and then if I do destroy it, and I think there's potential in it, we just go and buy another one tomorrow. It has afforded some luxuries like that, to say the least. But there is like a serious side to this, is that, and again, many of you know this from previous chats which we've done, there is going to be a new sponsor to the Rag the Nuts Off channel. Now, it's not like a new sponsor as you would know it. So this isn't going to be like a third-party company which is going to be sponsoring the Rag the Nuts Off. Actually, technically, it's me. But it's a different part of me, if that makes sense. So I've been working on a site here. It's not that far away from going live now. It still needs a million things doing to it, but it's getting to the point where it's annoying me, so it needs to go live. And basically, it's a price comparison site for RC components. So it's going to enable you to then know if the product which you're interested in, whether it's a good price at that point in time. Because that's one of the things which frustrates me, and has frustrated me, I'm sure it's the same for you as well, is that you go on to, say, Banggood, for example, and you find a product and you don't know whether it's cheaper somewhere else, for number one, and you don't know if it's been on sale for pennies and you're paying pounds for it, you know. So that's one thing which it's really bugged me. So I have built a site which does that for us. I have also worked on a collection of other things like expert reviews as well, taking the reviews which I've done for literally hundreds of products now, or models, and then try and get those into a written form, leveraging what I've also done on YouTube as well, and that will get launched in the next month or so. Again, I'll soft launch that into the Facebook group just to get your feedback, to make sure I've not missed anything obvious, and then roll with it. So there will be, in the near future, you will hear me saying that this live episode or this video was sponsored by XYZ, and it should be a compelling argument for you to at least go and take a look when you're looking to make your next purchase. And again, that's a nice way for me to be able to have like a sponsor to the YouTube channel, but actually it's also me, so I have nobody else to answer to. Because the thing which would always be a concern for me is that, for example, say Hobby King send a free model to me, or Banggood, or wherever else, is that I don't care what anybody says, is that, well, there's one or two exceptions, so Bruce being one of them, is that it will bias your opinion. This is the thing, is that sometimes when you get free stuff from somebody, you don't want to mention like the bad points about it, and I don't want to ever be put into that kind of position, because in my head I'm reviewing the product, not the company, and saying that I have done the company reviews before. But on a serious point is that I can see that as a category manager, say at Hobby King, for example, or somewhere else, and then I turn up and say, look, this product is shit, you've put a crap ESC in it, Bonsai 2, for example, is that may be taken personally. But for me and you, It's a review on the product itself, and you're going to get over that. You're going to forget it in a couple of days' time. It's not the end of the world. And then you just go on, you're going to go and get another model because you're just probably just addicted to foam, is what I am, in short. So that does cause a bit of an issue, and that's not somewhere I want to go down. So I've decided to go a slightly different route. It does cause more work for me, but hey, it's going to be good fun. Also, I need to give you a heads up. As of from later today, every single video which I've posted will have adverts enabled on them. This has been a choice which, and those of you which have just been enjoying with the live session, this is like a recap and a look towards the future for the Rag the Nuts Off channel. So I am going to talk about adverts, I am talking about sponsors and stuff like that. It's a 200th episode. You're going to have to indulge me on this one, okay? Now, anyway, get back to the point. Adverts will be enabled on all videos starting from today. That does exclude any live videos. So if we're doing a live stream like this, for example, then I'm not going to interrupt the live stream with adverts being placed in the middle of them. That would annoy the living daylights off me personally. That said, we do live in a world where YouTube adverts do matter to a channel's success. I'm not going to go into the exact details, put it this way. I have a friend who has several million subscribers, and she knows what she's doing. And I finally caught up with her, and what she suggested I've taken to heart. So as of today, adverts get turned on. Not a choice which I'm particularly impressed about, but the numbers don't lie. And let's face it, if you don't like adverts, stick an ad block on. And I will make a video about an ad block in a couple of days' time as well, just to make the point. So I know some of you won't like that. I'm not particularly a fan. But I do bow to someone else's far superior knowledge when it comes to YouTube, so I've got to take notice. I can't ignore what she's telling me. Right, let me have a quick look through there. Oh, I just want to also stress as well, I am full on with the Facebook group as well. The Facebook group, and as many of you didn't know, there is a Facebook group called the Rag the Nuts Off, and there are now 2,600 members in that group. Cool people like me and you, which are in that group, and that has absolutely blown me away. I've seen other Facebook groups and they're not very good at all. The community which is in the Rag the Nuts Off group is absolutely fantastic, and I just want to give every single one of you which have been in there and you've answered questions, you've helped others out, a big double thumbs up for your support, for helping out cool pilots like myself. And many others. It's very lively in the group. It's quite diverse to say the least, but it's got a really nice vibe to it as well. And I can only really just say a big thank you to you for making it what it is. Now you're gonna have to excuse me. There's been many things which I'd needed to cover, and I've not really looked at your chat at all either. So I do apologise for that. Yeah, and Zenith, I think you've kind of hit that again. You've seen the chat going down the right-hand side of the screen. Zenith, you're absolutely right. I'd honestly prefer to know about all the issues with the models straight up rather than find out when I'm flying them. I totally agree with you on that one. It's that I've bought models knowing that there's issues with them. Eyes wide open. I like that. And I like the honesty which does kick around this RC community the vast majority of the time. Is that if there's something is quite bad, then you'll normally find out about quite quickly. And that's why I'm like I'm a little bit concerned about the Sidewinder, because mine doesn't wobble or oscillate that, but Jeff's does. So I'm kind of thinking like, what on earth caused it? It didn't look like he was doing a massive dive. It didn't like he was doing overspeed. I've flown mine really hard, but I've obviously not flown it hard enough to make it oscillate. So frankly, I'm a little bit jealous of Jeff. So Jeff, how did you make it oscillate? I need to go and watch your maiden video to see if I can make it do it, because I can't make mine do that. But it does raise that little red flag in the back of your head, and that's why we're getting it up on the in the channel to go like, what's going on? What's happening here? So we need to find out about it. Right. Andy Wood says, I've unsubbed from channels that feel like the shopping channel. Yeah, and that's a kind of, Andy, that's actually a really good point which you've made there. There are channels which I've unsubscribed from, and there's also channels which I have subscribed to for many different reasons. And actually, I think that's one of the biggest challenges which I actually have here personally for Rag the Nuts Off, is because I can cover, and I do cover, like, I don't just do like entertainment inverted commas. I also do other parts as well, that you have reviews mixed in with some humor to some more serious stuff as well. It's quite diverse, and I feel that I'm able to offer you, like, as a viewer, a range of items, which sometimes actually does. I do feel it is as being a negative. Sometimes it's like a positive, and sometimes it's a negative. Is that, like, if you go to someone else's channel, you kind of know what you're going to get. They have. So I'll use this old Tony, for example, a metal worker, and he's just got a fantastic sense of humor. It comes all the way across with metalworking, and he just stays in that one kind of arena and does the same kind of thing time and time again, and it works really, really well for him. Whereas me, I'm a little bit like all over the shop in a couple of different places, and like I said, that's playing to some of my. I'm playing to my strengths, and that's the only way which I can do this, is by playing to my strengths. So it is very much a curiosity. Right. Flutter in Crosswind. Brilliant. Iconic Zero, welcome aboard as well. Right, anyway, let's get ourselves back onto topic. I want to give you like a heads up, there is a build along session. It's going to be a live set of series, which we, if you want to join in. I've got a model over there, which I personally really enjoyed flying last year, but I do feel in the back of my head that I can make it better for a second time around. So those of you which remember the Keifu, we are going to be doing a live build session right here at this table over the next week or two. It will start in a week or two's time, should I say. So I need to give you a heads up. You are going to need some basic parts if you want to join in with that one. I will post the full details in the Facebook group later this morning. You will need a sheet of Depron or board, whatever size you've got, bigger the better, basically. I've got a box of 40 sheets over there. It's about time I start getting used on some of this one. So you'll need one large sheet, okay? You will need some 4mm carbon fiber rods, okay? About that long, okay? So, I don't know, 15 inches there approximately, okay? If you don't have access to carbon rods, wooden dowels but thinner would do it. They might need reinforcement, or you could knit your mum's knitting needles. Obviously they're slightly heavier, but they would work. Just some rod of some form, because this is got a pair of booms going out the back of the model, and that is the booms are the one oddity as far as this build goes. Just like on a practical point of view, you'll need 2 motors, 2 ESCs, a receiver, and FPV gear, and that's about it really. For it. The rest of them, of course, 3 servos as well for the Model 2. But like I said, I'm going to give you a heads up on that one. I'll put all the parts in the Facebook group later this morning, and we are going to be building a V2 of the Keifu, and we will be doing that as a live build along series right here at the workbench, literally starting in a week or so's time. So yeah, look out for that one as well. And again, I've got a collection of ideas and a collection of projects which I would like to be doing, and the thing is that these Depron builds, these light foam board builds, they're great, but for me is that, as many of you know, I've much preferred building models which I can get to the flight line in 20 minutes, half an hour, and off we go. And that's why I like the Sidewinder wing, for example. That was like the pinnacle example, because it turned up here in the morning. Within 40 minutes it was flight ready, and 10 minutes of that was because I was having to do some soldering to create a custom little wiring loop for the FPV gear. So there was a slight delay in that, but I like, that's my kind of foam. That's normally my kind of foam. That said, I've had a tidy up here in the office, and the Keifu is sat there on the side, and I feel really guilty that I've not been and flown it. I will be keeping the airframe, that's for sure, but I do feel that I could make the airframe better. So what better way, in inverted commas, is for me to build a new one, because I know that format works really, really well. But what better way of doing that is to do it together with you live over a couple of episodes, and we'll just keep chipping away at it until we get it into a flight worthy state, and then we'll go out and we'll go and fly it together, most likely live as well. And by the way, you may have noticed a common theme there in the last few minutes of me talking away is live. I am a massive fan of the live stuff, and actually that's kind of a bit of a benefit for the channel as a whole. But as much as I like recorded episodes and being able to put smiley faces in editing and things like that and chop out mistakes and things like that, I do very, very much prefer the live stuff. As you've just heard an eBay notification going off in there in the background. It's live. You can edit that stuff out. You leave all mistakes in. And I think it's fun. So I hope you find it fun as well. Anyway, let's have a quick look. Iconics. Glad it's not a flight test channel where everything is awesome, even when it's an expensive piece of... Yes, I do agree with you as well. So just to recap, those of you which have just been enjoying with us live, you want to go back and hit rewind and start back from the beginning, because today is the 200th episode. And we've taken a little bit of a retrospective look at the past 15, 18 months, or however long it's been. And there are going to be some changes to this channel. Hopefully for the positive, long term from them. One of them I'm not that personally happy about, but there's compelling evidence which I need to go with and I can't argue with, so that's what's happening. And it is time for me to wrap up. So let me just quickly recap what we've been uncovered here today. The S-Back video. If you've not seen this one just yet, do go and take a look at this one. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it's taken me a year to review that video, review that model. Literally, it's taken me a year to get to the confidence to say that I actually really like this model. I have enjoyed it. I have owned it for a year, and it's not as bad as what I first perhaps perceived it as being. I still have a duplicate here, just in case, or the day when I do something really bad with it. But it has lasted me. But it's definitely a number 2 model for 3D flyers, because you don't want that as the first one. We then spoke about the backwards model. we had a chit chat about this. This is my kind of sense of humour. The Mini Talon is such a great model. It's also so inexpensive as well in the scheme of things. So you may remember the hits as the tri-motor Mini Talon, the biplane Mini Talon. We are going to be working on a backwards Mini Talon very shortly as well. I have no idea if it's going to fly. Like touch wood, I really want this model to fly. I really want it to do well. We'll see what happens with that one. We spoke about the free ring as well, wherever she went. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Can't wait to get the review out on that one. Exactly what I expected, even down to my hunch that the motor which I put in it wasn't meaty enough and I've had to change the motor. So my hunch was right in the beginning, and it flew an absolute peach. And yeah, in the first time in the air, tiny bit of trim, and off she went. Happy days. What else did we spoke about? Oh, the WTF and the Sidewinder. After this live version is finished, I'll put a link to Jeff's video in the video description for you to go and have a look, or just look up Demo 7 on YouTube. That was a little bit concerning. That's the last thing you want, is a wing which is travelling at 100 miles an hour plus, then oscillating in front of you. That is not a good position to be in. That's not something which I've seen yet, but yeah, we'll see if the tape mod has been sorted that out for Jeff. That was a little bit curious. Joe, backwards with canards. See my earlier message on that, on the setup for that one. Again, I want to keep it to looking like a Mini Talon. Okay, a backwards Mini Talon, but I need to make 1 or 2 mods to try and get it to fly straight. Then we spoke about Mighty Car Mods, Roadkill. That article which Mighty Car Mods wrote, absolutely brilliant. If you have any interest in YouTube at all, so if I know you're sat here watching me chat about this, but if you have like a deeper interest in YouTube and what kind of goes on behind the scenes, it is like a 30-minute read. It's one of the best articles which I've read about YouTube in a very, very, very long time. And there's a lot of hard truths which go on in that article. And again, that's why I'm sharing that one with you, because I found it absolutely fascinating myself. I hope that you find it even a little bit fascinating, just to see kind of behind the scenes. So, yeah, hey-ho. As such, we did hear that there's going to be some changes here. There is a new sponsor which is coming in, but it's not like a sponsor which you would assume. It's not a third-party company. It's actually going to be myself, which is a separate tool which I've been created for, not only myself but also yourself as well. We spoke about adverts as well. Adverts will be enabled on all videos starting from this afternoon, obviously with the exclusion there of live stuff at the point in time when we're recording live, like an RC Coffee Chat. If you're watching it live, there are no adverts. If you're watching the recorded version, adverts will be enabled on that. Yeah, brutal truth about that one. Hurts. And I know, as many of you know, I hate adverts, but I cannot argue with the numbers which go in the background as far as adverts go. And that was it. Oh, the build along as well. Look out for that in the Facebook group. I will be putting the details of what you need to be able to follow along in the build. I will give it some serious thought this morning of what's needed, maybe lay out some parts on the desk, and I'll post that in the Facebook group later on this morning. Right, on that note, I am just going to jump across to your chat, just to make sure I've not missed anything. It's all about the Karma S1100 update. Good question. That's a good question because I took the vector out of it. I've got no need for another model which needs a vector in it. It flies fantastically well. I still feel that 2 motors are the right choice for that one. I don't intend putting a 3rd motor on it just for poops and puddles, you know. I won't be doing that because it flies really well as is. Unfortunately, I'm stood here and I'm over there looking at it, and I wasn't able to fly it on Saturday or wasn't able to fly it on Sunday. And the reason why I wasn't able to fly it on Sunday is because Craig burnt out one of his motors. So I said, look, just going to take a screwdriver to the Harrier and nick that motor. You'll be able to fly to there. I'll get a couple more flights out of it. So he nicked the motor off it, and I'll pick it up. Well, when I see him on Friday or on the weekend, I'll have it back and I can screw it on the back. You know, so yeah, all a bit of fun. So yeah, S1100. I just want to say actually a big thumbs up to Andrew Newton for investigating the CG a little bit further. I think, what did he say? Go back to 305 mils from the nose. That seems to be a good point, or to the point where it does not no longer squirrely. So I'm glad that he resolved that. It also shows that the CG was incorrect in the documentation. Did they get it the right way? Yes, they did. A nose-heavy model is much more easily controllable than a tail-heavy one, because the last thing you want is a model tip stalling on you. So yeah, I'll set mine up for about 300 mils from the nose if I can get it back that far. Remember, I'm putting a 50-200 4S pack in it. Great fun. So that model's still there, and there's a lot of fun yet to be had with the S1100. So good question, by the way. Right. Andy's kind of got the point. Yeah, I can't say anything really bad about it. The control ones are stupid. They're not long enough. There's a few other little minor things about it, but come on, it's molded EPP. You can. I've wrapped it round. We had like a nigh-on head-on collision with another model of it, and I had a trophy at the end of it. And if you do crack the wing like I did, then you're just going to stick a bit of glue down it, wait for it to set, and off you go again. Molded EPP, tough as old boots. You'd need to wrap it round a lamppost or a tree at full knacker right through the middle to get it to a state where you couldn't repair it. It would be quite hard not to get that model into a state where you could not repair it easily, or at least with a couple of what do you call it, things of hot glue to get it fixed. So yeah, not too bad at all. So we're quickly. Yes, I am sorry that we started without you, Rob. I do apologise. But do remember you can hit rewind at any point in time. Matt, can you put a picture of your FPV wiring loom in the group, please? Yes, I can do that. I presume that's for the Sidewinder one as well. I'll put a photo in there and I'll stick it on Instagram for you as well. Let's have a quick look. Oh, Andy says, I've noticed about chasing the CG is still needed up trim. Yeah, that's to be expected. I did was a little bit, when we're going back to the Harrier chat here, I do suspect that sticking a 50-200 4S pack in the nose was probably a little bit, we were getting to the limits of the airframe perhaps, so no wonder we needed a bit of up trim in it. But hey, it's good fun. So yeah, it will be staying, and that's the biggest update which I can give you on the Harrier. Right, and Scott says, yes, I can wreck anything. I do have that approach at times, I can assure you. Anyway, it is time for me to wrap up. I would like to say a massive thank you to you for taking the time to watch this live episode. If you have any questions or comments about anything which we've been discussed here, and I do want to just put my hand up and apologise, and remember that those three things, which is me just trying to be humble here. I do apologise for maybe going off topic, away from RC a little bit in this episode, but it's just like the realities which we live in, and it is the 200th episode, so I do feel that I am allowed a little bit of indulgence and to just cover and bring you up to date with some of the things which are going on here in the background, and bring up some of the realities of what comes with a YouTube channel which is now over a year old, looking at its second year, and I'm sure many of you want to continue on into the future, so we do need to have a chit chat about some of these horrible realities at times, rather than smashing foam around the sky. And it is time for me to go, so I hope you like this new setup as well. I thought I'd give this a whirl today. I was using it yesterday for another live event, and it seemed to work quite well, so if you like today's setup, let me know. And like I was trying to say, any questions or comments, in the video descriptions a link to the Facebook group. Like I said, there are over 2,600 cool pilots like me and you in a very, very cool Facebook group. There's a link to that in the video description. If you click on the join button, or in the top right hand corner on the screen, you've got 2 questions. Make sure you answer those questions. I've personally declined about 20 people in the last month which have not bothered to answer the questions. Those questions are there for a serious purpose, so make sure you answer those questions, and then myself or one of the other moderators will pick up your invite request, and we'll preview as soon as possible. And on that note, it is time for me to go. Thank you very much for joining me here today for a live RC coffee chat. If that's still warm, that mug is fantastic. Anyway, if it is your first time here, we do run these RC coffee chats every single week. If it's something which you've enjoyed, even with today's very weird topic, then hit the subscribe button underneath this video. Also, I have to say this, if you've not done this already, there's a bell icon. So underneath this video where it says subscribe, you've already subscribed, happy days. Next to it, there's a bell icon. If you click that bell icon, then you can choose when YouTube will notify you. Personally, I was mortified last week to find out that I only had occasional set to Sir Andrew Newton's channel. That was shocking. So I changed that to, obviously, to all, and clicked OK on that one. You may want to do the same thing for this channel as well, so then YouTube will notify you the next time a video is being published on YouTube. Or, of course, if you want the inside scoop, remember I do post all videos which I can before they're live in the Facebook group as well. So there's another reason for you to perhaps go over there and take a nosy. On that note, it's time for me to go. For myself, Matt, thank you for watching. See you for an RC Coffee Chat this time next week, but I'm sure we'll have a few videos out between then and now. From myself, Matt, cheerios! This is the awkward bit because I need to find the right tab. Aha, there we go, find the right tab. Really off now. Ta-ra's!